So red actually represents safety and also unsafe and danger items. So which is red. Maybe I won't do that next time. Okay, so what makes people feel safe and unsafe? Actually, both Tanu and I did a lot of separate secondary research and read a lot. And we actually read about, this article that I saw was about democracy and how democracy has changed the way Brazil has perceived safety differently. And so when we were talking about freedom, I thought that was interesting that because Brazil, I don't know too much about politics, but this was like a political journal. And they wrote about how people, because Brazil used to be an authoritarian type of society, and switching from that to democracy has sort of caused chaos and disorder. And because of all that chaos and disorder, there's been more crimes. And because of more crimes, that has caused more unsafe perceptions. Which is interesting because we wouldn't, I don't know too much about the politics, and of course, you can major in criminology and you can major in sociology and politics of Brazil, and actually do like whole thesis on this stuff. And we had a 5-minute presentation to do, so there's way too much stuff out there that we wanted to talk about, but we were only able to distill as much as we could. Sure. So we kind of just talked about sort of what things in general make people feel safe and unsafe in both Brazil, just as humans and as people, what sort of things, at least from my perspective right now, what makes me feel safe and what makes people feel unsafe. So sort of contrast between peace and warmth and especially social connections make people feel safe. So having just sort of a social network makes people feel safe. Feeling empowered and having control over what you know is happening. So having control over that makes people feel empowered. Being omniscient, so again, having knowledge makes people feel safe. Things that are orderly, and if you see cleanliness and sort of just seeing street lights, sort of those cues and things make you feel safer. And then feeling unsafe is like these words of like crime, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, danger, feeling vulnerable. So a lot of I saw in the study that women and elderly especially feel vulnerable, and so they have more opportunities for feeling unsafe. I don't know if that's the best way to phrase it, but
a lot of physical manifestations of vulnerability, which like in the form of fences and thicker doors or concrete walls. While they make you feel safe, they also make you feel unsafe. So they're in this gray area where they're both sides to the coin on the same thing. Right. So there are a lot of symbols of safety that also show insecurity and vulnerability, which is unsafe and safe at the same time.
And just things that like not knowing something makes you feel unsafe. So being in a new neighborhood and not knowing what's going on makes you feel unsafe. So these are sort of perceptions, but also it's true in some way to that one person who's not knowing what's going on. And then sort of seeing disorder and seeing like dirtiness and seeing like darkness. Those sort of things are humanistic. Like we automatically feel unsafe. And if you can of course argue both of these, but we thought they were kind of encompassing for. I know they're very general, generic words, but they're kind of